recording this session on the last day of January 2024. And we're talking about intention and synchronicity being the theme that I have had repeating this week, and bringing to mind our intentions. My intention is to be a clear, focused channel for anything that needs to come through and to repel any negative energy. Hannah?
My intention is to share helpful information and to be in a state of alignment and acceptance.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, Paul. Welcome.
Hi.
We're sharing our intentions. We're going around the group. Good to see you. Anna, would you mind just introducing yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. My name is Anna, for those of you who don't know me, for those of you who do. Hello, Anna Pavlakis, and I'm a shamanic healer. I work with a modality that I developed in 2011. It's my own modality. It's called Integrated Soul Healing. And it was channeled into me, given to me by Spirit in early 2011. And before that, from 2003, I have been a feng shui practitioner. So I started studying feng shui in 2003 in New York. And so I've been practicing that ever since. And I've also am a spiritual coach, and I run something called the Lightworkers Collective, which is a group for light workers, star seeds, new earth co-creators, intuitives, healers, shamans. It's a space for, the group is quite advanced for us to share information, to learn new techniques, to receive support, and to come together in community and do earth planetary service work for the earth as well. So I do that as well.
Thank you. And just name one thing that you would like clarity on, if you could succinctly.
Me?
Yeah.
Clarity. Yes, where to go next, my next step.
Okay. Well, as we go around the group, I just like to remind everyone, as everyone is speaking, to hold each person in love and non-judgment. And if anything comes through for that person, when, either when it's your turn to speak, or if you want to raise your hand and say something, then please feel free to do that, unless it's segments. Welcome, Carl, who's joined us as well. Hello.
Hi. Can I comment on your jumper? I don't know if you can see,
my intermittent sleeve jumper.
Yes, exactly.
I'm aware. Yes.
I think it's because of the black arms.
Yeah. I'm not here.
Yes.
And also here.
Looks quite funny when it's just the head and the torso and nothing else.
Right. Yes. Which brings to mind the 5 dimensions that Paul and I were joking about yesterday, because he mentioned that he's not an ascensionist. However, let's move on. So, David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everybody. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. My given name is David. My office is Lehohlahm, Israel Melchizedek. And my intention today is to just be love and light, and to contribute where necessary, and to receive purpose.
Thank you, David. Lovely to see you. Great to have you here. Denise.
Sorry, I'm on my phone, not my laptop, so I couldn't work out how to unmute myself. My intention really is just to be part of community with like-minded people, and to receive some upliftment from that, and connecting with all the lovely energies, and connecting with your energy, Alexis, because I've missed it.
Thank you. Lovely to see you. And I love your jumper too. It reminds me of Dennis the Menace.
Oh yeah, my Dennis the Menace, yeah. That's what I used to
Okay,
get.
I didn't ask David, but I will ask him in a moment. So what's the one thing that you would like clarity on?
Next steps with my work.
Right. Thank you. David?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I appreciate that. To be honest, the major pull for me in this was I think it was Tracy was her name.
Yeah.
So I've been slowly being pulled into the stargates and understanding the heavenly blueprint, the earth blueprint, and all this stuff for my own purposes and kind of my own soul mission here. So getting more, being able to learn from her, I think, was one of the major pulls. The second real benefit for me was being with like-minded souls, being with people who have done the work, people who are embodying high frequency, high love quotient. That's always a beautiful thing to be with. And then thirdly, to contribute, just if I'm able to, even just energetically, or just making mindful conversations that can activate people, that's always profitable.
Great. Well, hopefully, if you're game, I would love for you to share some insights and wisdom this evening, if and when we get the chance later on, if you're open to that.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know what it would be, but I'm happy to serve.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Agne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Agne. I am quantum healing practitioner, and like bringing this modality, the new modality, to the world. That's my mission overall. At the same time, I'm uncovering more, I don't know, abilities probably, or being more present with, or clearing my channel for the information to come, and doing some grid work, I guess. And yeah, the intention today and clarity needed, like intense clarity, has been happening in the past few days. And I think we're kind of collaborating with David on some big mission, and I feel the same way that Tracy Ash could give us some insights, and I don't know, maybe it will come through the space just like that, or maybe we'll need to reach out directly, I don't know. But some big stuff is going on, and yeah, it's very exciting what's coming for the world.
Well, I want to remind you and everyone, including myself, that all wisdom is within us, and that we have access to universal mind through meditation. And if we can sit in silence and access universal mind, then any answers that we seek are there. But we must knock on the door.
For sure. I've been knocking, I've been receiving. I like that conscious knowledge to connect the dots, but it's always, that curiosity leads me to more.
We don't need anybody, but we need each other.
Oh, yes.
I would like to just ask you just a brief definition of grid work, please.
it's too complicated. Like it's so much happening. I don't know how to define that.
Okay,
even.
if you were going to put it into one sentence, what would you say?
So I've done some kind of portal opening. I've had some journeys and experiences, and it seems like this is the higher level. We talked with Anna about Montserrat Mountains and liberating the feminine energy, as it was like kind of artificially blocked in a sense. So we're anchoring that feminine, sacred feminine and masculine balance. Of course, through my own journey for myself, but for the collective as well. And I'm getting guidance that we need to be in specific location for some potentially during the next solar eclipse in April. So there are
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you because I'm trying to put it into one sentence, and I'm trying to read in between the lines of what you're saying. Okay, am I right? Please correct me if I'm wrong, or even if I'm just touching on it. And so, am I right in saying that grid work is anchoring cosmic energies from
yeah, I guess
the upper vibrations to the
right.
physical vibrations?
That sounds right.
Okay, thank you. I'm just processing and understanding that myself. Thank you.
Me too. I don't understand fully, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
I'm just being guided. So yeah.
Yeah, and I heard somebody speak about the mysteries this week and how, the mysteries are not meant to be known. Part of their nature is to remain hidden. Thank you. That's really, really valuable. Paul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm a cunning man, which is an old Southwestern English word for healer, teacher, wise person. I'm the owner of a business known as the Cunning Grove, which is very much an Anglo-Celtic and Nordic witchcraft and occult shop. We also specialize in folk magic tools. As I said, I'm also a healer. Like many of you, I own my own healing tradition. It's more than just a healing tradition. It's a folk magic and witchcraft tradition. It's an all-encompassing kind of, back to the word tradition. I'm trying to move away from the word modality because it kind of gets lost in translation. And much like everyone else, like we all have our paths or our journeys or our kind of sort of mission or quest in life, and my one is very much about grounding people back into the earth and teaching people that paganism is not dark, it's not evil. I'm not the Antichrist or anything. I'm not the devil. It's all nice to talk about higher spiritual energies, but they mean nothing. We can't stare at the sky without understanding our feet are upon the ground. And very much about teaching people that the darker nature, the darker half of life is not evil, it's not bad, that we must integrate both of our dark and our light selves in order to become more embodied, more healthy, more harmonious, more wholesome people. It's an interesting journey that I've undertaken, and it often keeps me, I often find myself in conflict with other people's ideals, but that's cool because it's often in our conflict that we find truth and balance and harmony. It doesn't have to escalate into, horrible arguments like our conversation. Like I said, I'm not an ascensionist. I'm not a descensionist either. I'm just kind of a very grounded individual, I suppose. Like I work with the spirits of the forest and teach people how to use natural healing herbs and roots and flowers to bring benefit to their life. That's me.
There's a lot of intention in what you said, and thank you for sharing that. And I want to ask you, what would you say that you would like to bring clarity to in your life?
What would I like to bring clarity to in my life? Oh, that's a really good question. How do I be a better spokesperson for what I do? like, you know, I have this healing tradition, and it's born from that shamanic work that I did. But how do I talk about it without using those words and like explain it in a way that people go, oh, I get that. You know, you listen to Agni talks about what she does and there's clarity to what she does. You know, Anna talks about what she does, there's clarity to what she does. And me, I'm still trying to find the new words that explain the old and the ancient that I do. So that's where I want to bring clarity.
I read a beautiful book, and it's a tiny little book, really short, by a man called Stuart Wilde with an E, and it's called Silent Power. And he talked about how through silence he accessed so many worlds and embodied all of the power within him through silence. And that's what you reminded me of when you were talking. I just want to feel like
that's lovely. It's beautiful. And it's interesting you say that, actually. I've been having these conversations. People keep asking me over the last couple of weeks why my shop is called the Cunning Grove, because the grove is the center of the forest where all the mystical energies converge, where the spaces between this world and the next is at its thinnest, where the witches and the wise people, the cunning folk, the magicians have congregated for aeons to come to worship, to honor, to connect, to weave magic. And as you spoke, I'm reminded of those words once again. And actually, fact, when I speak in that way, there is complete clarity and there is such eloquence to those words. So thank you for that. And I'm going to check out that book. Absolutely. Thank you.
I just want to say, amazing synchronicity with the tops tonight, you know, like the stripes and the colors, they're all blending. And like, you know, I've got these invisible arms, but they occasionally appear with the stripes. Carl, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Carl Preisler. My main focus is trance work. I work with my guide, Katarang, but I also, depending on the nature of the work or the nature of the client, I will work with other star beings and light guides. And my work includes trance-directed healing, where with my guides, I work to shift and release deep-seated energy blockages in people. The way they've explained it is that sometimes the blockages are of such a slow vibration that you can be more effective as a light worker when they work through me, which I'm closer to the vibration of the earth plane. And so they can work more effectively at dealing with blockages that are of a similar vibration, if that makes sense. That's how they explained it to me. Also interested in doing soul rescue and spirit release work, and have done that with in a circle in the past in London. And I feel a lot of the times when I'm doing the healing, there's a kind of a shamanic element, because I feel the energies flow through me. And in the same way, when Anna's doing clearing, she gets burping kind of effects. I get kind of yawning ones, or where I'm kind of, it feels like fire breath or dragon breath, and I'm breathing out the negativity that I've extracted. And so it took me a while to feel comfortable with that aspect of the work. I'm also a qualified clinical hypnotherapist, trained in past life regression, and attuned at Reiki master level, but the trance healing kind of pushed the Reiki to one side. Whenever I was doing Reiki, the trance kind of started happening. So the Reiki's been left to one side for many years.
That's really interesting. So did you actually naturally go into trance as you were doing Reiki?
So I think yes, but it was because it was around the same time when I got tapped on the shoulders by spirit to become a trance medium. So I was already like going to development classes. And perhaps because it was also the time when I was learning my craft, you could say, I was a bit more open, maybe a bit more experiential, but I was certainly a bit more open, because they would come and I'd be at work often and I'd be like tapping away on my computer. I used to work in IT, and I'd feel the presence, because it would feel like pressure on my head and on my shoulders, and I'd feel the presence. And because I was like a student, I was thinking, well, it's best to learn as much as possible and to go with the flow as much as possible. I wouldn't push it away, but I'd have to rush to the bathroom and lock myself in a cubicle, you know, to let the whatever energy what they were like doing to complete, and then I could go back to my desk. So when I'd open up to do like healing and Reiki, I was effectively opening myself up to spirit and to light. And so my guides, or the energies I was working with, developing as a trance medium, I guess would see that as an opportunity to, and an invitation. So they would come and they'd start directing my hands to places. And you hear about people doing kind of, you know, energy extractions, and, you know, my hands would start making those movements to pull out stuff in different places. And sometimes I'd get kind of in my inner eye and kind of an understanding of what that might look like. So yes, yeah.
So before I ask you the question about which element of your life you want clarity on, I have another question for you, which is, when I'm sending healing energy, my head vibrates. Now, you spoke about that pressure. Literally, my head is like moving like crazy, and I can control it, but I choose not to, because I think that that's when I know it's working, because my head's vibrating. Mm-hmm. Is that the same kind of energy that you were talking about, the pressure, do you think?
I would say yes, but I would say perhaps it's an indication that you need to be a little bit more grounded, to allow the energy to flow more freely through you. Because when I was developing as a trance medium in the beginning, and a lot of the other students, not myself just, but we would often start kind of oscillating, I guess is the right word. You know, we weren't swinging, but we'd be kind of oscillating because of the energy flow. And I felt also because we were not used to accommodating it, and perhaps not used to grounding it either. And it took maybe a year before our energy bodies, because in my understanding, my energy body also had to develop and adapt, and to be able to accommodate. And well, and to be flexible, you know. And I think one of the gifts that I've been given is that I can accommodate multiple energy beings, like depending on their frequency. I can. My energy body seems to be flexible enough to stretch in different ways.
At the same time, or at different times?
No, at different times, like one person at a time only. Thank you.
And what about the thing that you would like clarity on? What would that be?
So a bit like maybe what Paul's alluding to, because I was thinking about when you asked around. It's something I've been wanting clarity on for a long time, and I guess part of the clarity comes with the journey. But I'd like clarity on how to walk my path or follow my path with more conscious awareness and understanding.
Beautiful. Okay.
So it's like I'm still following something that I'm not quite sure. So I think it would be great to be more conscious of what I should be doing, so that I can do it more effectively. And perhaps partially some of that might be my own fears and things, but you know.
Okay.
We're all a work in progress.
Thank you. In the remaining 2 minutes, Carl, I'm going to have to stop you there. In the remaining 2 minutes, let's just focus our attention, and before I hand over to Paul for his segment, and then after Paul, Anna, if you would do your segment. Muriel has contacted me to say that she can't make it. So then I will ask you to speak, David, after Anna, if that's okay, and just share whatever comes to you. So in the remaining minute or two that we have before I hand over to Paul, I'd just like you to put your hands on your knees with your fingers outstretched and just create a circuit by putting those hands on your knees. Really stretch your hands in fingers wide. Just close your eyes for a moment and contact a pink vibration from up above your head, which represents love. And see this as a thin pink band of energy coming down behind your spine, and curl it under, beneath your spine from the top of your head. Bring it all the way back to the very bottom of your spine. Bring it underneath the front of your body, up to the front of your body, to the top of your head, and curl it round a second time, and bring it down to the very bottom of your spine a second time, underneath the body, up the front of the body, and let it rest at the top of the head. So you're encircled in a double loop of pink energy, which is the balancing energy to the violet flame. So detach from the pink vibration and think down to the heart of the Mother Earth and contact with humility a violet light, a psychic fire, the violet flame, and ask for this to come up through the lower body, through the soles of the feet and the aura, and imagine it coming up through your body, transmuting all lower frequencies, and visualize it as high as you can into space. And just take a moment and hold yourself in the violet flame, burning all lower frequencies from your auric body. And then contact a white vibration, detaching from the violet flame and pink loop. And then from above your head, bring down a white light, like a beam of energy from above your head. And just engulf yourself in this vibrant white light and bring it over the shoulders, all the way down to the soles of the feet. So encase yourself in this and see it shining out of your heart to the whole world. Now, bring your hands to the upright position on your knees and see the white light coming out of your hands and your heart to all the peoples of Earth and to the whole of the cosmic system, and then to the whole of creation. And just hold that visualization for a second. So there are 3 beams of energy, one coming out of your heart, white light, and 2 coming out of your hands to the whole of creation. So in gratitude, close that by just flipping your hands back to being on your knees. Take another deep breath. And just feel the earth beneath your feet. In gratitude, you can return, opening your eyes. Okay, thank you for your participation in that short exercise. I'm going to hand over to Paul to explain ritual and the magic of.
Thank you ever so much. You know, interestingly, you talk about the violet flame. I teach within my Druid Mysteries course about working with Bridget's Sacred Eternal Flame. As you were speaking, I'm thinking future segment, I'd like to teach that because it's an interesting energy, a similar kind of concept to your violet flame, but it's rooted within the Celtic mythology. So very interesting.
What was it called? What was it called?
It's Bridget's Sacred Eternal Flame.
Oh,
Do you know
Bridget.
about, you know, Bridget of obviously when the Christians appropriated the Celtic gods, they took Bridget, turned her into Bridget of Kildare. To this day, the Eternal Flame is still managed by, well, it's originally in the old tradition, it's 13 priestesses, now it's 13 nuns. But on an energetic level, there's a similar thing to your violet flame, but I'd like to teach that in a future one. But anyway, moving on. So ritual and ritual magic. So I spell magic with a K. It is a Crowley concept. I know many people don't like Crowley because they think they know because they've heard that he was a bad guy. He was the Beast of England. He was a very misunderstood person. Not many people know that in actual fact in his day he was a well-known proponent for children's rights and closing of workhouses. But of course, much of his story and his teachings are kind of maligned. But that's not the point. So magic with a K, to distinguish between mesmerism and kind of stage hypnotism, and often the sort of new age concept of law of attraction as a form of magic. What I practice is rooted in tradition. It's rooted in traditional British witchcraft, and obviously ceremonial magic, which comes to us from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Israeli Regardie, Dion Fortune, and sort of the greats of the sort of Victorian era ceremonial kind of age, which obviously is a rebirth of kind of what was happening during medieval Europe. There's actually a terminology. So at one point, Toledo in Spain was the center of ceremonial magic. When the first books about the Kabbalah started to surface, the Moorish people brought their astrology and their blood magic and their ceremonial practices. It was actually a saying at the time, "Are you going to Toledo?" "Yes, I am on my way to Toledo," was code word for I'm off to practice ceremonial magic. And ceremonial magic differs from witchcraft in the fact that witchcraft is considered low magic, ceremonial is considered high magic, not because one is better than the other, but somehow because high magic or ceremonial magic has a much more Judaic Christian bent, that it's somehow better, and low magic is dark and evil. It is simply the idea that witchcraft was practiced by the cunning folk of the lowlands. So it's very much about, oh, cool, that's really cool. Low magic was very much about the magic of necessity, the need, you know, the sort of person that the peddler who gave the charms, you know, spoke to the spirits, did healing and sort of herbal kind of practices, where obviously lived in the huts, perhaps out in the village. Really interesting, funny story. I've always said that I wanted to be a cunning man of a village. The place where my shop is situated is called Stoke Village. Our dreams do manifest in the most unusual ways. Anyway, and sort of the ceremonial magic was the sort of practiced by the medieval alchemist, the court magician who lived in the tower, hence low magic, high magic. But the practice of ritual, now we all engage in ritualistic practices, whether we practice ritual magic or not. How many of us, before we meditate, turn out the lights, put on comfortable clothing, get out our meditation stools or mats, light a candle, light our favorite incense? When we do this, we're engaging in ritual. The process that we can, when ritualistic practice is literally just engaging in the same sort of repetition of practice again and again and again. And every time that we do this, we encode a certain state of consciousness within ourselves. And interestingly, if you're a follower of Rupert Sheldrake and his kind of work, he talked about morphic resonance. When we engage in traditional ritualistic practices, like within a church, for example, you know, sort of using the old censer to smoke and sort of smudge the place, and the reading of certain passages, we are accessing energy of all of the people that have previously practiced this. So again, by doing things in a ritualistic way, we access deeper states of power because we're connecting with all of the people that have done the same thing previously. That doesn't mean that we can't go off the beaten track and do things in a different way. Aleister Crowley was a fan of something that he called chaos magic, which is the idea of taking, because ceremonial magic is very ritualistic, and then like we do this, we do this, we do this, and we do this, and then we do that, and then we finish and we close and we're done. He said, well, what about if we skipped, you know, we did A, but we skipped B, C, D, and F, and then we went on to Z, but then we came back to C, and then we did this, and then we just kind of mix it up, like doing that free flow kind of ceremonial practice. It was still engaging in that same energetic kind of transference of all of the people that are connected with that. So via the morphic resonance, whether you want to call that unified field, whether you want to call that concepts like oneness, consciousness, we're still accessing into the same energy that other people have done since aeons. And one of the things that I love about ritual is that it creates states of consciousness, it creates states of mind. Ritual, in a way, becomes its own remedy. It becomes an act of self-care. How many times do each one of us in the morning engage in the same practices? You know, whether it's you get up, you wake, you know, if you're like me, you get up, you make a cup of coffee. I have a coffee drinker, it's true. You know, and then we have a shower, and then we do the same thing every single time. We wash our hair first, then we wash our face, and then we do this, and then we're engaging in ritualistic practice. The ritual in its own way becomes a remedy. It becomes self-care. But beyond that, especially when we're beginning out within our own spiritual paths, ritual really becomes the foundation and the building blocks for greater spiritual exploration by allowing us to again access those deeper states of consciousness, because we're doing things in exactly the same way. So, for example, we know that we're going to meditate, we turn out the lights, we light our candle, we light our incense. We know that doing those three things automatically begin to trigger those deeper states of consciousness and deeper states of mindset. So within witchcraft and within ceremonial magical practice, we have two different states of mind. We have magical consciousness and we have ritual consciousness. And we even have a lower state of consciousness that we might call like almost like a lunar kind of deeper reflective state that we can go into. It almost embraces a transcendental, trance work, almost shamanic state of mind. But the majority of what we do, we practice at magical or ritual state of mind. Both are deeper states. So what I want to share with you tonight is a couple of things. Obviously, I've done the explaining why ritual is important and how it can help us. What I'm going to do is a demonstration. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to show how to consecrate our tools in a ritual manner. So I'm going to take my athame, my blade, which I've had this one for 20 years. This is the same blade, it's a bit rusted, that I always use within my ceremonial and magical practice. I'm going to teach you two things. I'm going to teach you how to consecrate it, which is to cleanse it, to activate it, to empower it for use within a ritual way. And you can use this same method to activate and cleanse, consecrate your crystals. If you've got a wand, if you have a journal, if you have a feather, for example, a quill that you always use to write in your journal. Again, in doing this and engaging in this ritual practice, we empower our tools that we're using with deeper reservoirs of power, with deepen our connection. Now, I'm going to add a little comment at this point, and it's something that came up in my shop recently with a chap who came in prancing about us pagans being one-dimensional people. And one of the things he said to me, you don't need all of these tools because the power is within inside you. And I said, yeah, no, you're right, it's true. But, you know, if I'm going to hammer a nail into a wall, I'm not going to use my forehead. I'm going to go pick up my hammer. I'm going to use the hammer because, you know, I don't want to use my forehead. But sometimes tools become an extension of us. They become a way for us to focus our intention. So, you know, people use vision boards, they use crystals, they use meditation mats, meditation tables. All of these things are an extension of our will. And if we take an Aleister Crowley perspective on what magic is, he said that magic is a science and art of transformation and conformity with will. Like will is the very act, it's our focus of our will that creates the change. And sometimes a tool helps. Also, it kind of, you know, for me, as a magical person, as a witch and a practitioner of ceremonial magic, like I feel magically as hell when I'm sitting there, when I'm waving me knife around, or I'm using me wand or whatever, and I'm lighting my candles. I feel that sense of power. And, you know, I could easily just use my fingers. I can direct energy with my fingers. I'm that powerful, but you know what? It just feels bad when I'm using a ceremonial tool. So, my cameraman here is going to help me. We're just going to turn the camera around. Yeah, absolutely. It is exactly that. It's about focus and direction of our consciousness. That's right. And our will. So my cameraman is going to help me. Just going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you my altar that I've set up for a ceremonial practice, and then we're going to go through that. On that side. I'm going to do the thing. I have a new assistant, so I'm my first ever employee. So I'm chuffed. Right. Can you all see my altar? Okay. Just need to. Thank you. Right. Is that okay? Can everyone see that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Right. So as you can see, I've set up my altar for ceremony. So this is slightly different to how my altar would normally look. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that are here and what they mean. So here I've got my antler wand. This is a traditional tool within folk magic. I don't use it within a ceremonial practice. I tend to use it within healing, but I like to keep it on my altar. It relates to the direction of east and to air. Air is all about the mind. It relates to spring, so it's new ideas, new consciousness, new creation, new beginnings. I have my bell. I love this. This is an antique Indian bell, but someone's added this interesting piece to it. But the sound, usually it rings on phrases, but it's not doing it today. I have my incense bowl here. Again, also air because it's smoke, which I'm going to light right now. I knew how to use my new lighter. Okay. Nope. Right. I have here, obviously, I've already shown. It's my athame. This is the element of fire. Some people say that these two are the other way around. Some people say this is fire and this is air because of the association with the tarot. The tarot obviously being born from ceremonial magic. However, I disagree, and it's for me it's a personal decision because I used to work with the angels. Raphael represents air; he's in the east. Michael represents fire; he has a blade. That's south. I've kind of stuck with that. Over here, if you can see it, so I've got my water vessel, which is my chalice, beautiful piece of antique silverware. I actually also have a spray that I'm going to use for this one. This is water. This is a product I make connected to Danu, which is a water goddess. And I have my cauldron, which is earth, and I have on the altar in front of me, I have 4 candles representing the directions and the elements. So we have yellow for air, red for fire. So this is east, this is south. We have water in the west. Again, it's intuition, it's emotion, it's the sacred wells. You could, if you were to go into Norse, it would be the wells that feed Yggdrasil, where the 3 Norns sit. And then we have green, which represents north, which is earth. Again, it's fertility, it's the forest, it's the birthing of life itself. And I don't know if you can see them, or you can see them. Oh yeah, no, cool. We have 2 candles here, and this is a bit of a Kabbalah setup. So we have a white candle for the pillar of mercy. We have a black one for the pillar of severity. Equally, this could be God and Goddess. I have Baphomet, which I know some people are not too happy with because they often associate Baphomet with some evil deity and Baal, and there's all this conspiracy stuff. Baphomet isn't a deity. He's a construct that through morphic resonance has become a deity in himself, and he represents the balance, up as above and so below, as within and so without. And next to him, you can sort of see him, we've got the pentacle, which is the symbol of, interestingly, it's 5 elements. From my own perspective, there are only 4, and it's earth, air, fire, and water. When we talk about the 5th element, is meant to be spirit, but for me, really, fire is the element of spirit, of life, of passion. Very much because I'm connected into that Celtic tradition, and fire in itself isn't actually considered an element. So what I'm going to do today, as I said, I'm going to show you a consecration of a tool. I'm going to do my athame. So I've got this beautiful ritual incense that I make. It's filled with lots of resins. So this is Arabic gum, it's copal, myrrh, frankincense. There's also chicory root, which is all about empowerment and breaking through limitations, and sandalwood. Interestingly, also Arabic gum is a great empowerment. It empowers anything else added to a mix. What I'm simply going to do is I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to pass it through the smoke. When it smokes a bit better. I'm going to pass it through the smoke and then activating, cleansing away any energies that don't need to be there. Now, interestingly, a lot of people will go for sage as their go-to cleanser. I'm going to say to people, don't use sage, not because of cultural appropriation, or because of its dwindling in dwindling in species because it's been over farmed. But in actual fact, all sage does is it wipes everything out. So if you've got your vision board or you're doing all of your positive intentions or your awards and things, every time you're using sage, you're actually clearing away any protections you've got, any positive intentions, any wards. You're actually creating a blank slate. So if you're moving into a new home, use sage because you want a blank slate. Anything else?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to give you the 5-minute heads up, and then you've got 5 minutes of question and answer.
Yeah, no worries. I'm almost done. So we've cleansed our blade, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is my own fire oil that I sell in the shop. Obviously, I'm not trying to do product placement here. So I'm just going to add a couple of drops to my blade. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to draw energy up from below. I'm going to draw energy down from above. I'm going to wipe my blade. Just adding that power. And do the other side. And you could do further consecrations if you wanted to. You could do water if you wanted to add a water element. If you're using something, perhaps it's going to be a healing tool. I often use water on this one because I use it in healing. And now our tool is almost ready, and our final empowerment. So we can say whatever words we might say. So I might say that I cleanse, consecrate, and activate this ritual athame for the use of directing energy during ritual and magical practices. I dedicate this in the name of, and I can say someone like a particular deity. I could say in the name of the lady and the Lord if I was a Wiccan, or I might say the god or the goddess, or whatever higher power you believe in. It could be just a creator if that's what you feel called to do. In this case, I'm going to dedicate this tool within ritual magic under the protection and the guidance of Baphomet as god of balance and above and so below. Thank you. And that's how we consecrate our tools, and we can make this as ritualistic as we like. We can make this as formal as we like, or we can just make it really, really simple. Oh, I'm just not doing my Oops. Okay. So the final bit that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very, very quick ritual using. I'm going to burn a sigil. I'm going to create a sigil for healing. I'm going to use it using bind runes, and then I'm going to complete. So I'm going to light each 4 of these candles in front of me. And again, you can make this as simple as easy as possible. I'm going to make this really simple. I ignite this candle in the direction of east for the power of air, drawing this into my ritual circle. And the same. I ignite this candle connected to fire and cell to imbue this ritual space with its power. And obviously for time, I'm going to attempt to do the same for the others. What I'm going to do is I'm going to light these last 2 candles. So again, I might say I dedicate this candle to the horned god, or to the green god, or to whoever I'm doing it to, and the same for this one. Oh, lovely. We find a new candle, we new lighter. We've already used it all. I'm light with that one. Here's one I prepared earlier, kids. Sometimes these things happen. So I'm going to take my Dragon's Blood ink. So Dragon's Blood ink is a ceremonial tool in itself. It's made from red ink and dragon's blood. We make this ourselves. And it's all-purpose ink we can use right in our grimoires or in for spell work. So I'm going to draw A very, very simple bind wound when it works.
Two minutes.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have more time, it would look neater. But this is a combination of 3 rooms. So it's the gas, Madra, and Odal, which are about integration, healing, protection, and drawing upon ancestral wisdom and power. And I'm just going to burn this. We're going to bring light. We're going to bring shadow. I'm going to allow it to burn. Obviously, always making sure that we practice fire safety. The act of burning the sigil releases its power. I'm going to take my bell, and for the 4 directions, east, south, west, north. With this, I bring my ritual to a close. Very simply, silently to myself, welcoming in those energies. And then I'm going to extinguish my candles. Obviously, the reason why we don't blow out the candle is because if we do this, we blow out the fire within ourselves. And obviously, we've worked one way going through, we're going to work the reverse. Oh, there we go. It always goes wrong when we try to do a video demonstration live. And I've got wax all over my hand. And I'm finally,
That's
I'm just going to take one last final spray of this just to cleanse the space. There we go. Job done. It's all good.
perfect timing.
After I've spilt wax all over myself, oil all over my floor, nearly burnt the place down. Kids, don't work the fire at home. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Questions? Anybody?
One question. First off, I just want to thank you for taking that and sharing that with all of us. Very well done. The question I have, I'm with you on the sage. I'm curious, what, if any, plants, herbs are you using as a medium to bring like a protection or like to bring like a healing energy? And so obviously you would clear with the sage, but then are you using any type of herbs to act as a medium to bless or enhance or act as a protection in your tools?
Yeah, no, many. So currently in our shop, we sell around about 60 individual herbs, roots, resins, flowers, berries, woods. Each one have obviously got their own kind of energetic intention. If I wanted to bring healing, transformation, if I wanted to bless a space with positive energy, welcoming, all that good stuff, I'd go for copal resin because it's a little bit more expensive than frankincense, but my God, it smells incredible. It feels incredible. I mean, anyone who walks in my shop can feel that energy, and a lot of it's to do with underneath our paintwork. I've painted dozens, hundreds, probably sigils all over my shop. We've in the lead up to opening it, we've burnt loads and loads of copal again to welcome in that energy. The copal's one great for welcoming in abundance, prosperity. It's great for healing and transformation. If I was going to protect my space, I'm prone to using things like juniper berry, rowan berries are really great. Birch is great for clearing, so like birch leaves, birch bark. Again, like cleansing, I would probably go for something like black sage, or blue sage. Again, everyone goes, oh, sage, white sage. No. Get out in the garden and find yourself some black sage. Find your garden sage. All of that stuff is better than white sage for cleansing. Other things that we can use for protection. Blackberry is really great. There's an interesting mythology. Oh yeah, no, the rule is really good as well. There's
There's
a
just
thing
2
with
minutes left. Sorry. Wrap that up, and Anna has a question.
oh
Just
yeah,
close what you.
there's probably, I could probably recommend tons. Sandalwood, a combination of sandalwood, frankincense, and myrrh is another really great one for an all-round cleansing, protection, just welcoming in positive good vibes. Thanks for the
Thank you.
question.
Thanks, David. Anna.
Yeah, quick question. I don't know if this is a quick question. If it's not, then it's okay. Tomorrow being in bulk,
Yes.
what would you, because I want to do something, because I love in bulk. I always celebrate it, even though I have no Celtic blood whatsoever. Can you think of a simple ritual that would be good?
Yeah, absolutely. I should have done that. I should have done Imbolc one. Damn it, didn't think of that. I love Imbolc as well. Imbolc's one of my favorite holidays. It's the second one of the year. Technically, it's okay. Gregorian wise, it's the first. From a Celtic perspective, it will be the second because the first is Yule. Now it's Imbolc. We're welcoming back the sun in its abundance. It's very much connected to Bridget. I burn Bridget's candles, which is all about dandelions because they follow the sun. So I think anything to do with yellow, bringing in golden energies into your home, golds, beautiful green hues, all of that stuff. Like I would start with perhaps some intention setting. So writing down what your intentions are for the year, what it is that you want to welcome into your life, and then burn that baby, burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it. Because we witches, we love to burn stuff. We're all about the fire, right? We're all fire witches.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave that segment there. That's
No
time.
worries.
Appreciate your share. Thank you. Beautiful. A couple of things that I wanted to say was that
I just have to interrupt. I really have to run, I'm afraid. I have to take my cameraman back to the train station. Thank you all so much for having me. I will see you in a couple of weeks. I'm really sorry that I have to leave.
okay.
But thank you ever so much for having us.
Thanks for sharing, Paul.
No worries. Take care. Bye-bye.
So he reminded me of something called an egregore. Does anybody know what that is? Yes. David, do you want to explain what it is?
I think you should, brother. I think you've got the deeper understanding on that one.
Well, it also he mentioned Dion Fortune, whose work I love, and she talks about elementals, how we imbue things with our thoughts, right, that become form. Like, for instance, COVID. It was talked about so much that it brought so much energy to whatever was there in the beginning, which may have been a physical thing, but it gave it so much power by everybody focusing and talking about it. And then it takes on a life. But what Paul reminded me of was that words and intention have great power. He used words, he used intention. And that's all I really wanted to share. He mentioned also the fifth element being spirit. I've always been taught that it was ether. I don't know. I don't know if there is a distinction. I think that there may be. Any thoughts on that?
Distinction between ether and spirit as well.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I would agree, but I guess ether might be a manifestation of that refined spiritual energy in our physical world. It's kind of like a condensed form.
I see.
Oh, like fire is spirit too, and they all come from spirit. So
I see ether like an energy soup.
It's almost like a cloud trail.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning. I don't know. I know that I don't know. Anyway,
Ether,
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna. Obviously, we've all got a lens to look through here, and I think there's value in each of them. But
Absolutely.
me personally, I feel that ether is the container. Ether is what water, earth, fire, and earth all exist in, and it's where the substance comes from. It's the pre-substance of things.
Beautiful, beautifully put. Thank you. Okay. Well, Anna, are you happy to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. You have 10 minutes.
Okay. So I wanted to spend some time today talking about the Chinese New Year, as it is coming up on February 10th. We are coming into the year of the wood dragon. And I'm very excited because I'm a wood dragon. So it's like, yeah, it's my year. It's the first time it's been the wood dragon since I was born. And so the year of the wood dragon starts on the 10th of February, and it goes until the 24th of January next year, 24th, 25th, 24th of January next year, according to the Chinese calendar. And it's interesting, we were just talking about elements, because in the Chinese system, there are 5 elements, and it's a different system. So, and they're very important with the different energies of the years, because the Chinese astrology goes in 60-year cycles of 12 animal signs that go through each of the 5 elements. So we've got, in Chinese, we have earth, we have water, fire, metal, and wood. We are just coming out of the year of the water rabbit. And last year I mentioned in Sacred Segments that to be careful of things like floods and tsunamis and things like that. And that has happened, especially recently. So these things are, Chinese astrology is the real thing for sure. So we're coming into the year of the wood dragon. We've gone through the different cycles of dragon energy since 1952, when it was the water dragon, 1964, the wood dragon, 1976, the fire dragon, 1988 was the earth dragon, 2000 was the metal dragon, and 2012 was the water dragon again. So it just continues in these cycles. So, but each of the animals has its own natural element, and the natural element of the dragon is earth. And it's a fixed earth, and it's called Wu in Chinese. Earth is Wu. Wood is Jia, J-I-A in English spelling, and dragon is Chen. So we're coming into the year of Jia Chen. I'm not pronouncing this properly. A Chinese person would be very angry with me. And dragons are, of the 12 signs, dragons are the one that's theoretically not real. It's legendary, but I think dragons are real, and I think many of us would agree. And they are considered the luckiest sign. So this year coming up should be quite wonderful for many, many people. The dragon is associated with vision, creativity, and especially wood dragon is very much creativity, ambition, adventure, risk-taking, and independent thinking, coming up with new ideas. All of these things are the realm of the dragon. Being fearless. Dragon people are charismatic and very much big thinkers. They have vision, and there's usually a confidence there. Dragon pursues its dreams. Dragon takes risks. dragon just goes for it. And because it has this energy of like motivation and drive, it can really create magic. It could work a lot of magic. The wood dragon, because wood is the element associated with creativity. So wood dragon is the most creative of all of them. So it's the most creative and the most visionary. And it's also the most optimistic and the most generous. So dragon people, wood dragon people are very loyal, they're very generous, they're very compassionate. So each of the different elements is going to affect the sign of the dragon year. So in general, 2024, and again, this is in general because everyone's personal Chinese astrology is going to be different. But 2024 is a great year to start new projects. It's going to be a great year to do anything that's going to expand you and expand your vision. So think outside the box this year. Do your best to think outside the box, get creative, explore new things, new ideas, meet new people. Take advantage of any new opportunities that come your way. That is very much supported in this year. Certain industries are going to be very, are more likely to do well, would be industries that are aligned with this kind of energy. So technology, especially really groundbreaking technology, okay, cutting edge technology. Industries are going to do well. AI, which I have very mixed feelings about AI, but AI should do extremely well this coming year. Anything like any kind of technical industry that is about innovation and that type of stuff, new ideas, solutions, new financial systems as well. And there's a lot of talk about that being something that's coming in the coming years, is that we're going to have new earth financial systems, new earth economy. So this year is actually really supporting that energy. So really, we've got the best of both worlds. We have the power of the dragon combined with the creativity of the wood. So it should be really an amazing year. And you need to be prepared for significant changes, both on a personal level and on the planet, and to be able to go with it and not be attached to the old ways of doing things. Dragon is, it doesn't hold back. So the signs that are going to do best this year are the rat and the monkey and the rooster. Interestingly enough, it's not the dragon, because dragons are considered self-punishing. So dragons and dragons years, usually it's not the best year for us, but wood dragon will be better. So, I mean, my mom, okay. Like my mother died in 2000, which was, I think, metal or fire dragon year, and it wasn't very nice. So it's the best year for the rat, the monkey, the rooster. It's not going to be great for dog. That's probably the worst because dog and dragon clash. But everybody has 4 pillars with different signs and different animals. So you can always take advantage of something, even if you have something coming up in your astrology that is not great. So expect lots of change, stay grounded, be flexible, and manage your emotions and any tendency you have to be impulsive, because dragon is very impulsive, and this will just really increase any tendencies. So, be aware of that. Okay, you don't want to be overly impulsive. And lucky colors are going to be gold, green, turquoise, yellow, and you can also balance them with red and white. And if you are interested in learning more about this year, I'm doing a workshop on Sunday. I'm really excited about it. It's about harnessing the power of the wood dragon year So I'm going to be doing it. It'll be at the same time as Sacred Segments on Sunday. It's only $27. And I'm going to be going into this whole thing in a lot more depth. So if you're interested, I'll put the link and you can learn lots of cool stuff. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say. So happy year of the Wood Dragon. I hope it's a beautiful year for you. And for
Thank
all
you,
of us.
Anna. Okay, just before I ask David to share whatever's on his heart, I just want to speak for 1 minute or two about attracting love, because I know some of us want to attract more love or a partner into your life. And this is taken from You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, whose work I trained to teach. It's very short, so I'm just going to read it. Love comes when we least expect it and when we're not looking for it. Hunting for love never brings the right partner. It only creates longing and unhappiness. Love is never outside of ourselves. Love is within us. Don't insist that love come immediately. Perhaps you're not ready for it, or that you're not developed enough to attract the love that you want. Don't settle for anybody to just come into your life, just to have someone. Set your standards and what kind of love do you want to attract. List the qualities in yourself and you will be ready to attract a person who has them. You might examine what may be keeping love away. Could it be criticism, feelings of unworthiness, unreasonable standards, movie star images, fear of intimacy, a belief that you're unlovable? Be ready for love when it does come and prepare the field and be ready to nourish love. Be loving and you will be lovable. Be open and receptive to love. That's simply it. Okay, just model the behavior, be the person, be the energy that you want to attract. Is that in one sentence? Be the energy that you want to attract. Okay, thank you for allowing me to share that. Okay, David, I want to ask you to share. And just before you do unmute, I just want to say that I have messaged Tracy Carl. She hasn't got back to me. She's aware of joining us in the last 20 minutes. I can see that she's active on Facebook, but I haven't had a response. So if she doesn't show, then I'm still going to ask Katarang to come if you're happy to do that. And, we can all ask questions. Okay. So David, are you happy to share?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to share whatever comes.
Great.
I wasn't prepared, so I don't know any necessary particular direction to move into, but I did notice that, and it kind of piggybacks off of what you said, and I hope my volume's okay. I'm in a windy area right now.
It's good. It's good.
Okay. So what I think what I want to just kind of edify with for the collective here is really just an amalgamation of what we've already kind of went over, just like what you shared, and that is just vibrational resonance. It's understanding that, we're the conscious co-creators of this world. We have the spark of the creator within us. And so like I heard a few people mention that they just wanted to be basically a better version of themselves. They wanted to know more of their life purpose. And I think there's a great comfort in looking around this group because we're all highly evolved beings with mostly open hearts. And so none of us, maybe I'm speaking out of cue here, but none of us are like fully realized. And I think there's a grace and a beauty in that, because the journey never ends, and the journey is the destination is the journey. So it's falling in love with yourself It's celebrating and treating yourself as God in the flesh every day, and allowing the magic to come into your life, understanding that what you are is going to be what you attract, right? So just like you were saying about love, if we want love, then we need to open our heart up. We need to make a place. We need to make a place within ourselves for that partner to come in and not be resistant to it. And if there's something that we want to cultivate within ourselves, we have to be willing to believe in ourselves. And this is something that even I face right now in my own life, because we live on a planet where disempowerment is the broadcast. Disempowerment has been the broadcast for a very, very long time. And so what used to be very simple has now become very difficult, because we have inherited belief systems over generational cycles that have disempowered us and kind of cut us away from the real true magic. So like ritual magic and all this stuff is a great example of like seeking, using tools and seeking power on an external level, which is still us, still God in some way. But then for me, I think it's coming into a surrender of like understanding that I only have so much available, right? And there's a source which we're all connected to that is without limitation. And I believe that this is the sacredness of our hearts. I think that we all have this, and this is the same thing that Drone Bela Melchizedek taught, that the torus field that our heart produces is far more powerful than the torus field that is produced in the mind. And so when we can move our consciousness out of the thinking mind, out of the analytics, out of, not that you don't still use this, but it's understanding that there's a dance. And really what you're doing is you're dancing with the divine when you move into your heart. And you access a vortex, you access a portal that's interdimensional, that really empowers you, but also gives you the guidance and the wisdom that doesn't need thoughts. Just like the Bible says that there's a peace that passes understanding. It transcends understanding. It just is. It's always been. It always will be. And it's what makes up all of life. And so when we can come into our heart and tap into that divine source, we can let go of, to a degree, we can let go of all the planning. It's not that we don't still do these things, but it's understanding that that's not the true anchor or the true rudder of our ship, this vehicle of light that we're using to have this experience. I think for the people, and this is, so many of us, even in this group, to just to celebrate where we are each moment. I think being in the present moment as well is such a powerful place to be, because when you take away the concept of linear time, like we see in movies, we see a movie play out, but we don't realize that they're just a bunch of cuts. It's all a bunch of cuts thrown together, and it gives the perception, the illusion of distance. But really, we're just present. We're always present. And our thoughts, our energy, and our attention, how we feel, ends up creating the next moments that show up in our life. And so we realize that we are actually very, very powerful beings. It's just understanding our anatomy. It's understanding the multidimensional, just like with our chakra systems. And as we get more attuned to the different energy centers of our body, we're able to heal ourselves. And so we have less need of an external healer, because now we're able to shift our thoughts, we're able to shift our feelings, we're able to sense in our chakra vortexes where the energy's not spinning correctly or not in alignment. And we can go in and we can literally train our bodies to release those things, transmute those things in real time. And so this becomes a very, very powerful process in embodying and anchoring more light into your body, more light onto the planet, because the more light that we anchor into our own individual field, when we touch other people's fields, and as our field expands, we create an even larger grid. And that's what's happening on the planet right now with consciousness. So many people are being activated, and especially around the time COVID hit. I think what happened is there's many ways of looking at it, but really what it is it activated a lot of people, because they were forced to go inside, and they were forced to look at themselves in a way they never had before. So we've got more human beings, more ascended masters, and more benevolent energies and layers of consciousness working on the planet in this last decade than we've ever seen in known history. And most of us can feel this. And that's why we're connected right now, right? If we weren't connected 4 years ago, we're connected right now in this moment. And that's the purpose. The purpose is, it's not that we don't have our individual missions and many missions, but ultimately, we're all the one consciousness, and that consciousness is within our hearts. That consciousness is the love, ultimately is the source of every physical manifestation around us. And so with, aspects of duality, which I don't believe are actually a formation of the heart. I believe they're actually a formation of the mind. And what we get to, like with the Melchizedek Emerald Order teachings that I subscribe to, we start to understand that thoughts are things, and that your body is an antenna. So how you feel is energy in motion. What you think determines the pathway of your antenna, just like we're using wands to direct energy. Our thoughts, when we think about a thought about somebody or about our world, we perpetuate that cycle, we feed that source, and those things begin to manifest. So many people on the planet unconsciously have been creating for very long periods of time, and not all by them, not their fault necessarily, because they've been inheriting these belief patterns over thousands of years. And so now the people are coming in, and the work is here now in front of us, because we're the adults. We're not the ancestors, but we have to we're in the line right now, so we have to break that link. And I think that's a big part of the work that I'm here to do. I know Agni as well, and probably many of you on this call. I'll leave it there. Hopefully that was a little inspiring, but I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Thank you, David. You mentioned a couple of things that made me aware of something that I was in discussion with a friend today, and it's from the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success that Deepak Chopra speaks about, and I'm gonna combine 2 of them into just one thing, and it's the law of detachment and the law of least effort. And when we struggle, or we try to find solutions for problems, it's like we're fighting against the whole current of the entire universe. And if we can just let go and do nothing and just allow everyone to be as they are without forcing our own will, then the solutions come and they manifest through non-action and observation and detachment, and just allowing things to be as they are. And they are already perfect, even though they don't appear to be. That's what you were talking about brought up for me. Thank you for sharing that wisdom. And also, one more thing, that we are multi-dimensional beings. That there's this talk of, us moving into 5D. We're already there. We're in 7D. Like the 7 chakras, is that we are multi-dimensional beings. We always have been. We're just waiting for our awareness to catch up with that. Thank you. Okay. So, Carl,
can I just comment back to as well to
go ahead.
Sean? Yeah, no, I was very touched by one of the things he said, which rang very true, and also helped shine some light on my clarity question. He reminded soul, I think that when we are connected to ourselves in our heart in that moment, that's the only thing that matters, because then clarity arrives. And all the times when we're looking for clarity, it's because we're not there dwelling in our heart space, you know, and that's because we live in an environment, in a world where we have to do all these other things. And so we're actually feeling disconnected, but we're not really. And the more we can just, you know, find those, increase those number of moments in the day where we're, you know, connecting and being in the heart and connecting to our own divinity within, shall we say, and being in that space, the understanding will come and the knowledge will come that we need. And so we don't need to worry about where or whatever. We just need to remind ourselves to go back within, and things will be revealed to us. I do think, also, I know when we listen to you, I do think our conscious mind, while it's a great tool, we also have this desire to try and consciously understand and make sense and model and put labels and explanations on our world, because that's part of our makeup. But I also find that that can be misleading if we allow that to dictate too much of, or distract ourselves too much away from just going within and dwelling within and allowing the knowledge and the understanding to unfold from within, which is a true knowledge and understanding, rather than trying to have a conscious intellectual understanding, if that makes sense. I do think we can get too carried away by trying to, you know,
Intellectualize.
Fourth dimension, fifth dimension. It really doesn't matter. It's just about evolution of our own divine inner divinity and connection to the oneness.
As you're preparing to bring Katarang in, may I share something and then give 10 minutes to Katarang?
Yeah.
And then I would like to read a closing treatment. So we'll take 15 minutes from now and then close this session in 15 minutes. So just, I'm going to take 1 minute as you prepare, Carl, to bring Katarang through. And just speak just further to Paul's sharing of the Celtic mythology about the goddess Isolde, because I was looking what to bring through, and there's an invocation to the Celtic goddess of love and passion, Isolde. So put your hand on your chest and feel your heart beating, and imagine rainbow-colored rays of energy emanating from your hand, encircling your heart, and then call on the archetype of the goddess Isolde. And the invocation is this: loving Isolde, please send passionate energy filled with healthy and romantic love through my hand and into my heart. Thank you for healing anything that could block me from enjoying passion and romance completely. Thank you for opening my heart to true love. And just as we take a breath, we'll welcome Katarang. And I'm going to open the questions to everyone for the next 10 minutes to ask Katarang whatever questions that they see fit. Katarang is Carl's guide.
Okay. Nice to see you all.
Thank you for being here again, Katarang.
It feels different today. A
Very
little
different.
heavy, the energy, I think, a little heavy around. But we are here, we are good.
Good.
So nice to see so many lights, how shall we say, switching on around the world because of the wise words that are being spoken today. I see many light bulbs.
Nice. I have a question. Do you see everyone can you tune into individuals all over the globe?
So, my expertise is not to, shall we say, make close contact energetically, which you can do to, shall we say, infer information. I like to get a sense from afar of the energy and read from the vibrations, the frequency, general information. So I am not looking to, shall we say, connect to their astral body so I can read information from their past, from the future so much. In that regard, I would, if possible, try and make contact with their guides who can share such information. So I'm not sure I fully understand your question because I am seeing energies, I'm seeing vibrations, I'm feeling, how you say, it's like you're listening to an orchestra playing and you listen to one instrument or another and they all sound different. And some are playing soulful music, some are playing uplifting music, and some maybe are screechy a little bit. So this is what energetically is a way of describing how I can tune in, or those in spirit, they tune in to all the sentient, vibrating beings on your planet. Because as you know, there are more than just a humanoid form. And we are then, you could say, tuning our ear, if we use musical terminology, to pick out that one instrument out of the orchestra, to listen to the artistry of the player, or to infer from how they are playing if they are joyful, soulful, and so on.
That's amazing. I love that description. As a singer, I've often had conversations about listening to the bass or listening to the violin or whatever it is. So I completely understand. Thank you for your explanation. The reason I asked that question is because I was wondering if you can tune into an individual. I was wondering what happened to Tracy.
So I feel she is engrossed in some conversation with someone.
Yes.
So if she is lost in a philosophical debate that is engaging her conscious mind.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Does anybody have a question for Kataran?
Do not be afraid to speak up.
I could feel you, Denise. Did you have something that you wanted to ask? You're just she's unmuting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you are. Hello.
Okay. I do a lot of work with children and parents, and there's a lot of children now, especially teenagers, sort of coming through into the world with a lot of anxiety and social isolation and struggle with leaving the house, things like that. And I just wondered, like, what is it? Do you have a sense of what it is they need, what's going on, what they kind of need to come out of that space?
Okay. I feel this is a problem for many who have, shall we say, incarnated recently and are very much attuned to the finer vibrations within the, let's call it the astrophysical world. And they are not so much connected in the lower chakra energy places to the grounding energies of Mother Earth. They have to learn to lower and expand their own sense of conscious mind, their own sense of being, to be on a slower frequency where they can connect, shall we say, more fundamentally to the older frequencies, shall we say, the older frequencies. So we have here a dichotomy between the new frequencies coming in with the new generations and the older frequencies of the older generations that have been, like you said before, they create almost a thought form and energy of their own in the earth space, in the earth plane. And those slower vibrational energies are so much what underpins all that we understand, we from older generations, how the earth is working, how society is working, how people are communicating, connecting with each other. And they are out of synchronization with these lower frequencies. So they have, it is like they are not plugged in, so they cannot understand. They do not make sense of some of our society constructions, because their energies are vibrating at a finer frequency, and they need to be shown how to, maybe you could say, embody themselves more. And I don't mean that in an intellectual way, I mean that in an energetic way, so that they are able to how do we see it? For me, I often talk about the chakra system and the root chakra as being like a lightning rod. So that when there is a surplus of energies coming from whichever direction, whether it be from people, from working, from the heavens, or any situation, it has a means by which to be channeled, and any excess charge to be released into Mother Earth. So it is like that they are not fully developing this earth rod, or this grounding rod within their own energy system, and only small amounts are connecting to Mother Earth. And they are not able to release the energetic that expands into emotional pressures. And so were they to maybe practice some form of physical exercise that has to do with the lower body, maybe some form of, dance or something that is activating the lower chakras and stimulating the lower part of the body, they would find that they are able to open and allow more residual energies to be grounded. And I think this would help them release a lot of the pressure that they feel, and that gets transformed into anxiety and distress.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
I absolutely understand that. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Well, that was all we had time for. Agni, did you have a question that you wanted to ask? Did you have a burning question?
If I may, since we're talking about chakras, I was curious about higher heart chakra, because I'm receiving the guidance to keep opening it up. What does that represent? What's the intention?
So for me, the higher heart chakra is how we connect through our higher selves. It is like a gateway to your higher self that enables you to then, through your higher self, connect with spirit in a, how should we say? Difficult to describe, but it creates an opening through which you can both share and receive a more refined form of, shall we say, unconditional love. It is connected to compassion. It is connected to divine wisdom. And I feel also it is connected to the angelic realms. So when we work to consciously open our high heart chakra, we are engaging, shall we say, the overdrive, you could say, the overdrive for the heart chakra. So it is like instead of going in cruise control, you now go into a higher gear and you are on the highway, you could say, speeding along. And I'm trying to put into words what is a feeling for us, what is an understanding, a sensation. It just opens you to extra levels of understanding, extra levels of conscious awareness, an extra connection with your spiritual helpers, because it is like you are almost creating a seventh sense in a way. Yes, it is difficult for me to explain, but yes, let's imagine it as developing an extra sense, a sense of spiritual awareness that is on top of the five senses that we know, and also on top of the spiritual consciousness that is coming through the crown chakra.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Katarang.
much.
We must leave it there. We appreciate you coming to answer our questions again. Thank you so much.
I hope I can sometimes do better in explaining things. Some of these concepts are difficult when we are here sensing so much in our spiritual realm and trying to put into words that make sense for those who are, shall we say, wading through more dense energies.
Yes, I think you put it beautifully. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to have to close this session now, and I'm going to read what is called a treatment. And I'm just going to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to speak that, and then I will go around the group and ask you for a gratitude to close the session. Okay, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I live in harmony and balance with everyone I know. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself, therefore I'm taking loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing food and beverages. I lovingly groom and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself, therefore I provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with the vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, who feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself, therefore I work at a job I truly enjoy doing and that uses my creative talents and abilities, working with and for people that I love and who love me, and earning a good income. I love myself, therefore I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I'm free. I love myself, therefore I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good and knowing that my future is bright and joyous and secure, for I'm a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me now and forevermore. All is well in my world. A gratitude of mine is for this evening, for all of you, for being able to share and to hear and to listen and to be with you all. Thank you. Agni. something you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for the connections that are happening in my understanding of what I'm going
Thank you.
through.
Denise.
I'm grateful just for being here and sort of basking in the energy and the wisdom and the love that everybody shares in this group.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Denise. Carl.
Just, yes, I want to, I'm grateful for the knowledge and understanding that comes from this group.
Thank you. I love your rings, by the way. I've just noticed them.
Oh, this is my wedding ring. And this is my Irish cladder ring.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Thank you. And thank you, Katarine.
And I remember reading, who was that by that in, because I remember reading that many, many years ago somewhere as well. That you just read out just now.
It was Louise Hay
All
from
right.
You Feel Your Life.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
It's one of her treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anna, the gratitude.
I'm grateful to Mother Earth and for the cycles of nature and the seasons, and for the return of spring and all of its promise.
Beautiful. That's really gorgeous. Thank you. And thank you to all of those that aren't present anymore and the people that didn't turn up. You know, it was meant to be what it is. Accept, and let's all accept this moment exactly as it is in its perfection.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's lovely to see you and connect with you, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. And I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. It's going to be Valentine's Day, so I will put out a message about whether it's going to happen on Valentine's Day or the day after or the day before. Okay. That was the mouse falling down, but
it was
figure
just disembodied hand we saw.
Yeah, you look, I keep wanting to say you look like a monk or a friar.
Hey,
Yeah.
I used to be not in this life. Maybe a friar of vegan halloumi. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye. Lots of love.